tonight for dinner is going to be Pawhuska Cheesesteaks. If you're unaware, I am working through every recipe from this cookbook one by one. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to like and follow. Produce has already been cleaned, so we're going to go ahead and just start by getting that prepared. I've got a green bell pepper, a red bell pepper, and a yellow bell pepper. Each of these we want to de-seed, de-rib, and just cut into thick rings. This is one recipe. You want to make sure you have everything prepped in advance. I actually was proactive today, and I checked out the recipe beforehand, and it looks like once you get going, everything's going to be moving pretty fast, so you don't want to be held up by having to cut any produce or anything like that. I have my 3 peppers cut into rings, and so now I'm going to cut 1 yellow onion also into thick rings. Produce is all cut, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on our cheese sauce. I have a saucepan that is warming on low heat, and we're gonna add 8 ounces of Velveeta Queso Blanco. And as you can see, I actually have real Velveeta this time because, well, the generic didn't have Queso Blanco, so here we are. The best way to have that melt quickly is to cut this into cubes first. Velveeta is cubed, so I'm going to add this to the saucepan with a 1/4 cup of milk and a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I have 2 cast iron skillets warming, so one of those is going to be used for our roast beef, which you're going to use 2 pounds of thinly sliced, good quality deli meat. The other one is going to be used to toast our sub buns. We're going to start out with 2 tablespoons in that skillet that we're going to use for the roast beef. And then it calls for 2 tablespoons to go in the skillet for the bread. Each time that I've done that, though, where I've added the butter to the skillet and then put the bread on that, I wound up with maybe 1 bun that's toasted really well and the rest of them are not so great. What I have found works better is if you melt the butter, brush that on your bun, and then toast it. I have my butter ready to go in the microwave to be melted, and it does not call for this, but I'm gonna add some garlic powder just because based on everything that's in this, I feel like that would really add something to it. I have 6 sub rolls that are already split. So I've got my butter here, and I'm just gonna put this on the open side of each one. Roast beef's in the skillet, so we're gonna keep moving that around, break it up, make sure everything gets all nice and hot. I also missed that we need to have black pepper in with that cheese sauce, so I went ahead and I did a 1/2 teaspoon of that seasoned pepper. Roast beef is getting close to being done. Cheese sauce is getting close to being cheese sauce, so I'm gonna go ahead and start toasting the buns on my other cast iron skillet. Now the recipe does call for you to put 2 tablespoons of butter in that same skillet that you're using for the roast beef. However, since I used a small skillet, I'm gonna go ahead and put 2 tablespoons in the skillet that I was just using for the bread, and we're gonna add all of our vegetables to that. Cheese sauce has become cheese sauce. It's all melted and combined, so we're gonna turn the heat even a little bit lower. Then that way everything else can kind of finish and it won't get scorched. We just want those peppers and onions to kind of cook down a little bit and get it nice and soft, and then that way we can go ahead and assemble our sandwich. Okay, vegetables are done, so we're gonna assemble our sandwich. I just want to start out with some of that roast beef, and we're gonna put some of our cheese sauce on top of that, and then we're gonna top it off with some of our vegetables. And it is beautiful.